So today we got Mexican food. It's been a while since I've gone to a Mexican restaurant. I was at another Home Depot because I keep having to get different supplies. So this time I went to Woodridge, New Jersey, and I saw a place that I'd never saw before. I said, you know what? Let me try out some stuff and see what it's hitting on. This place is known as Al Toro Bar and Restaurant. It's located in Woodridge, New Jersey. I don't know anything about it. I didn't see any ratings. I just did check the Uber Eats app though, and it has that little medal that it has when it says something is like best overall. So I wanted to try it out today and see if it was any good. I got 4 different things off of the menu, usually things that I get from restaurants around here, and that is what's on the agenda today. So drop a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all of that. It is cringy YouTube stuff, but you don't have to say it because people do forget to subscribe, and every time that I say that, people go, "Yo, I did forget." So if you did, just hit the little button for me, bro. I appreciate it if you do. And let's get into this video. This is the kind of tacos I get every single place that I go to. I got the Al Pastor tacos. It should have some pineapple in here if I get underneath there. I do see some if you look right there by my finger. And then it's got the onions, the cilantro, and of course the Al Pastor, which is right here. Usually it doesn't look like this, which is kind of, again, just normally Al Pastor is on a spit, but this doesn't look like this was made on a spit because of the shape of the meat. Doesn't look like it was shaved off. But there's some limes here, so I'm gonna get the limes going on the top. Make sure I get, my hands be too big for these limes. Got some limes on the top. Let's dig in. Is this double or single wrapped? It is single wrapped. Hey, we got to try everything here. Let's see what we got. A little bit of the lime. They do have some salsa here, but I want to try the first bite with no sauce. It's not moving me. Start off with the tortilla. It doesn't taste like they put this on like the flat top or anything at all. It tastes like they just grabbed these out of a pack. The Al Pastor has a little bit of that flavor that you would know if you've had it before, but it does seem toned down. Look, I know Woodridge has a different target demographic, so sometimes this does happen, but I'm just a firm believer that serve the food you want to serve, and I feel like people will still find it, especially in New Jersey. Let me get one of these pineapple. And I want to try the protein by itself. Yeah, it's just a little blander. Like, I can see where they were going with it, but it just feels like they kind of just, like, toned it down. The biggest hiccup I have about this, let me try one with the salsa. Let me see. I haven't even tried the salsa yet. Let me just. Even the salsa. This salsa is usually much spicier than it is. But it does help the taco at least be, like, kind of decent. Like, I don't dislike these. I just feel like they did what a lot of these restaurants do, which is tone them down. It's not cooked poorly, and I would still eat them. I just, around here there's a lot more flavorful Mexican food, but this kind of thing that if I paid for it, I'd still eat it. Here is an order of chicken chilaquiles. I usually don't get chicken, I get steak, but I got a bunch of different kinds of proteins because I wanted to see what's what. Chilaquiles is one of my favorite Mexican dishes, and what it is, you can see it sort of on the bottom right here, is they have nachos that they cover in a sauce and they cook and saute in a pan. There's usually some red onions. I see some aguacate, avocado over here. I also see some chicken right here, and of course, the fried egg. I love chilaquiles. I actually usually don't get it with chicken. You can get it with verde or rojo sauce, which is red or green. I got the green version. I'm going to be honest with you, a close inspection of this avocado, it doesn't look right. And I'm not going to eat that. It's chicken breasts. I know some people prefer thighs. I am definitely one of those. Same idea. Well, let's get into this. Let's kind of mix it in and see what we got. I love chilaquiles. It's one of those things that I order at a lot of restaurants. That's not bad. Yeah, like more it is. It's even got some spice level to it. This is one of those dishes that some people get turned off by if they're a big texture eater because the tortillas get soggy. But the salsa on here is really good. flavor, citrus, a little bit, punch from the spice in that, I would eat this. I don't know what happened with that al pastor. Let me get a little bit of this red onion in here. I love getting that red onion in this, and then we'll do the chicken. I usually get steak. I'm just more of a steak person, so kind of on me, but there's another bite. This is fire, bro. That's pretty good. I'm surprised because the first dish was like really bland, and this is like flavor after flavor. Now, because I got this to go, egg is not runny, but that's not a complaint, just an observation. I prefer like a runnier egg when you get it in a restaurant, but with that little sharpness from that red onion, like I'll tear this up. I'm surprised. I thought we were in for something where I was just gonna be like, oh no, but at least I know I got one thing that's definitely a keeper. It's not my favorite one I've had, which it's gonna be hard to top that one, but this is, that I've had recently, one of the better ones that I've done. Surprised, man. This one, like, you can see I keep it, like, I'm just trying to get my money's worth now, but that's good, man. I'm gonna give that an 8 out of 10. And yes, that is a high score for me in chilaquiles because I eat a lot of it. Right here we have an order of quesadilla, which is a birria quesadilla. Birria is one of those things that is like super popular, but I think it's gotten to the point where it's like really overpriced. But I still wanted to try it to see if it was any good. Thing I noticed about this already, this thing costs $20, and there is really like not a lot of birria in here. There's just a very slight amount, but it's got good color on it. There's no consomme either, which is kind of disappointing, but you know, this is why we try things. This is why we're trying this restaurant. Let's try it. Quesadilla. This is like the ultimate, everybody ordered. They got so popular. This is sorely lacking in everything. It's like, chilaquiles isn't really like a really mainstream dish with Mexican restaurants. A lot of times people order quesadillas and tacos. And this, especially with no consomme, I think this is beans. Right? Yeah, they didn't give me no consomme. Let's try the beans. These have flavor. I don't get it. It's like something. It's like you got two different cooks back there. I'm not even trying to be funny. It's what it feels like right now. There's one person on the station where they're doing like the quesadillas and the tacos, and then they got one person over here. Let me get another bite of this. Nothing. No consomme. To not give consomme and then not have the flavor that you would get, that deep, rich flavor that makes birria from consomme, this just tastes like shredded like beef. And there's not much else to say about it. It is, like, these two dishes are like scarily bland, and then you got this one. Like, I'm going back to this one. Let me just get over here real quick. Fix this up. I like the fact that they made the quesadilla crispy. I'm trying here, but I ain't got nothing. They did give me guac. So let's try some of this guac. See if we can do something with the guac. The guac is decent. There's a lot of red onion in it. And a good amount of lime. They gotta have two different cooks. I get people, I'm not trying to insult. I just feel like that. It's like two different people. I don't know what happened. This is not my favorite. Being nice. This is not my favorite birria that I've had. And the crazy part is, again, this is the most expensive thing I got in the menu, and it costs $20. It is what's happened to birria in the last couple of years. Is it's gotten so mainstream that it's like almost like oxtail with Jamaican food. It's just like very overpriced for what they're giving you. I'm just not a fan of that. Factoring in what I paid for this, I would give it a 3 out of 10. It's not the worst one I've ever had, but it's definitely below average and just really bland. The beef is also not tender. It's not completely chewy, but it's not tender. So it's not for me. I'm sure most people know about this, but we have an order of elote, the street corn, which is usually like some cheese, mayo, some spices. Everybody makes it a little bit different, but I got 2 corn cobs here, and it cost $10 for these 2 corn cobs, which, again, Woodbridge, it kind of makes sense. I'm just pointing out things, not complaining, because I ordered it, I paid for it, so Just wanted to give you a heads up about that. But this looks okay. Looks like it has a lot of seasoning. One thing I like to check, though. All right, so they got both sides. That's a good thing. A little bit of that elote. There's a lot of mayo on this one. I happen to like mayo. It's very mayo-y. I'm trying to get some of that cotija cheese I see on here. I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at this. I know I got mayonnaise all over my face. I'm gonna do one thing at a time. The corn is also cooked to a good point where it's not mushy and it's also not hard. It's like a good in between where it's supposed to be. This is pretty good too. It's like a tale of two chefs. Let me get a little bit more right there in your face. There's a lot of what tastes like tahini on it. Very citrusy type of flavor. Very divisive thing. Some people don't like that punch of lime with their spiciness. I do. Even with like something as not Mexican as Taco Bell, I tend to like more of the Diablo sauce and their the Caliente Cantina. I can't say that. It's too many C's. But you see I'm going back to this already. I'm a fan of that flavor. And that's what that has right there. A little bit of spice, but very limey, citrusy punch to that. I find it enjoyable. Everybody's taste buds are different, man. That's why I keep going back to these chilaquiles. And to me, that's what it's supposed to taste like. These two dishes are very good and exceptional. So it's largely going to depend on what you order. With this, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's well done. It's good. You know what I mean? The ones I like the most, there's a char on it. A couple of other like different flavors that you would get, but still, not mad at those at all. I just realized I had my sun-kissed off the screen, so I know there's like that people that say you got no bev. It was there. All in all, if I had just walked in there and ordered the chilaquiles, I might have said, okay, I'll give this the medal. Because you can see, as a person who's a fan of chilaquiles, that is really well done. Everything else is kind of something that I say a lot on this channel is a lot of times people build restaurants in certain neighborhoods and they almost feel like they have to test out how much spice, how much flavor that they're going to add to it because they want to do business. You run your business how you see fit. I'm going to say the same thing the last time I went to one of those Korean restaurants. I'm a firm believer in making the food the way that it's supposed to be made. And then that's pretty much it. There is, I don't want to say it by name, a really popular Mexican restaurant that there's like 9 of them now. And those neighborhoods don't necessarily have that target demographic either. But they serve food that to me is authentic to them. And it's a hit. I mean, I think they've opened up 9 at this point. I've done videos at 3 of them. And they have my favorite chilaquiles that I've had ever. Again, I can't tell people how to run a business. But more of this, because this is really really good. The other stuff is, to me, just like, it just seems like they were trying to tone it down constructively. But overall, like I said, if I would just got this, but yeah, I just know this is a tough crowd. There's a lot of Mexican restaurants in this area. And I know people get annoyed, but I'm going to get a little yap session in on here. Some people don't like the yap sessions, but I feel like I have things that I just want to get off my mind. And this is just things that I like to tell myself, and hopefully, or sometimes it might help other people. But anyway, my city has like a recycling program like most do, where you have to put your cans on certain days and cardboard, etc. I went to put my cans out earlier and I saw like a whole family going through people's cans to get, cans to turn in. And when I see stuff like that, it always like makes me just get a different perspective on things. I'm human like everyone else, which means that sometimes I might complain about stuff that it don't really matter in the long run, and it's not really a big deal when you actually think about it. Just silly trivial things, and I feel like sometimes the fates or whatever you believe in, higher power, will put that stuff so you can see it to give you a perspective. There's two things that happened to me in my life that really gave me the perspective I have now, where I know people think I complain about stuff. I'm more just reporting the news. I try not to complain about things because I know that even in my life, I've been incredibly blessed with things I was given and some things that I've earned. The two instances happened, believe it or not, in college. One time when I was in college, I had this old minivan. Like, it had like 250,000 miles on it. And it really didn't work very well. Sometimes it wouldn't turn on. Sometimes the check engine light would flicker. Sometimes, and it was, the tires were bald, and it got me from A to B, but it was kind of dangerous. And I used to complain about it until one day I was driving home and I got into my parking lot, and the car literally shut off, and the transmission fluid leaks all over the place. My car was cooked, and I didn't have a car after that. I only had about 4 months left in grad school, so I wasn't going to get another car just to have around grad school. Um, if you know anything about Iowa, it's freezing out there. So I started walking around, and it's like 0 degrees or -10 degrees. And no, I am not exaggerating. It gets that cold out there. And one particular day where I was walking back to campus, I lived off campus, I was particularly angry. And I remember the snow covered roads and kind of, they don't pave roads well in Iowa. They don't have snow removal very well. And I'm kind of wading through the snow, and I'm pissed off. And there's a dude in a wheelchair that wheeled past me with the biggest smile on his face. And he said, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" And he was like missing his legs. And I was just like, this dude doesn't have legs, and he's had a better attitude than I do. And I was just like, what are you complaining about? I never complained about things like that again. And there came a point in my life where I stopped driving altogether and started taking my bike and my feet in nice weather. I would just walk instead because it made me like accept that. Um, the second instance was when I was moving out of college, and I had all this stuff that I had accumulated over the last like 4 or 5 years. Again, I'm getting out of grad school, so I didn't have a car. My mother, bless her heart, she drove from New Jersey to Iowa to come and get me because I had a lot of stuff. And she was just like, "I'll come." And I was like, I remember trying to talk her out of it, but she came anyway. But long story short, she gets up to there, and she had a Honda CRV. It's not a big car. You could probably take some stuff, but I had like an old couch that I got from Goodwill, like microwaves and stuff that I was like, what do I do with it? So I went to go put it in the dumpster. So I go put the microwave, I'm going to the dumpster, and there's a family at the dumpster. I was pissed off because I couldn't get a job yet. I had employment. Anyway, there's a family at the dumpster, and they said, "Are you throwing that microwave out?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Can we have it?" I swear, there's a mother and her 2 kids, like going around college campuses taking this. And I was like, "I mean, you can have this." I said, I'll tell you, I have a whole bunch of stuff here." I ended up giving him everything that I had because, again, I was taking it home to a house that was fully furnished anyway. But they were like so grateful and so thankful for stuff that I was literally gonna throw in the trash, and it was just like, what are you complaining about? And I know I'm guilty of this too, and I'm sure some people watching this are just as guilty. I know you get down sometimes, but I don't know how many of you have ever been out. I have been down. I didn't grow up with money. We definitely struggled at times. There were times where but I never starved. I was never not looking for food. It might not have been the grandest of meals, but I never was hungry. And my parents made sure I was never hungry. There's people out there that are like literally wondering where their next meal is going to come from, where their next breath is going to come from. There's people that are sleeping outside right now that don't have cell phones or the technology you're watching this very video on. And I think a lot of us get really down about things that I know it hurts and I know it's inconvenient and I know some things are like bad. But the thing that I've learned in my, I guess, in a grand scale of things, short time in this world is that your situation, as bad as it seems, it can always be worse. And I think myself and other people, included people around me, we spend so much time focusing on the things that we don't have that we forget to focus or be happy with the things that we do have. And it's okay to not be content. You know, it's okay to want more, but I think it's also okay to appreciate like what you have. Years of, you know, there's been times where I've definitely not had like money. You know, there's been times where I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. There's been times that my lights were about to get shut off. It's happened to me. I've been there, but I still didn't sleep outside. I still didn't starve. You know what I mean? And that's just the perspective that I try to have, you know, these days. And seeing that today, I'm not going to say the interaction that I had with those people because I'm not one of those people that's going to, you know, give that kind of thing to the internet. But, you know, it's never as bad as it seems. You know, I don't want to go into detail with that, but you know, I appreciate y'all, man. I just wanted to have that conversation. I was literally on my way here when that happened. I had stopped home and I was on my way here, and you know, the whole time in the car, I was just like, damn, you know. So figured I'd share that with y'all. You know, appreciate the things you have. Hug your loved ones. You know, be happy. Try not to focus on the BS because you still have more blessings than you probably realize right now. But that's gonna be the end of the video. We'll be back tomorrow. More content. Man, and hand signs. They made it to YouTube.